Hello, it is your girl Sav, the wealthy genius. I'm going to attempt to do this video is pre-recorded alongside nature, people, and a couple of bugs. I'll be honest, right? So you're going to want to listen to this if you want to turn your passion into profit, right? To extract your genius and to live the most sensational life across the board. So I went to see Michael, the film, yesterday. So this is what it's going to be based on. So if you want to go and see that film, go see it first and then come back to this training. If you have no intention of watching it, then this training will still help you. So I'm going to cover very specific points, and I'm going to try and do it in in a precise fashion. Although I may, I may have thoughts and ideas coming through that are also of very, very high value. So the first thing that really stood out for me about Michael Jackson's story is the singularity of focus. So stay to the end of this video, because I am going to give you 4 powerful questions to ask your creator, your mind, to be able to have the results that you want, to change your life supernaturally fast and forever in increase. So he had a singularity of focus, and the way that it expressed itself was through music and dance, right? It was a massive amount of creativity that he had, but he had that singularity of focus. That's the first thing that I'm going to say. The second point was he had a vision, right? And he knew manifestation, he knew the principles. If you can see it, it's heard, hot, and it's yours, right? So he worked hard, but work actually is just a verb, which means action. So it wasn't hard work in the sense that he didn't want to do it. I'm sure he would have had moments like that, especially with his dad and stuff, but he was so passionate about it that any of those excuses, any of those feelings, any of those I can'ts or it's too late or whatever, just completely evaporated. They disappeared. Like, he was singularly focused in the ideas that were coming through him, and he knew that. And I think there's a famous quote where he says, if I don't act on this idea, then God's going to give it to Prince. Which is true. It is true, right? So he knew that. He was very, very passionate. So the next point, sorry, because I don't know which bit I'm at to. Hold tight for just a second.
Come on then. Oliver.
We need to go back to Grandma and Granddad.
Coming this way.
Go get Daddy.
This is bad now. Oh, well done. That's all
So
right.
it's actually
Come on then.
the next thing that I wanted to say was that he had 4 signature moves that I noticed last night. So he was always known for his dancing abilities and the way that he moved his body. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm back. So the next point that I said is that he had 4 signature moves, because his dancing was incredible, right? He was just so amazing to watch. Like, he just had a natural spirit, his uniqueness about him. But he did definitely have 4 signature moves. So number 1 was the moonwalk, number 2 was the body wave, number 3 was the pelvic thrust, and then he had like this all-encompassing slide that he used to do, right? It was so good. So good. So he had other moves, right? But those 4 were the ones that really stood out and the ones that people would go crazy for. So the next point, and this is going to be so good for you if you're in business, if you are an artist, a sports person, an actor, is to really understand your unique flavor and then have that singularity of focus in a way that people will always relate to you. And that creativity in those frameworks is always magnified, right? It's always magnified, but it has that signature framework. So after he ventured out, so his first album by himself was called Off the Wall, and then after he ventured out, his most famous albums had 1-word names, and they were very much inspired by his environment or the things that he saw. So like his Thriller album you know, that was inspired by what he saw on TV, and then he went to video, and he was so magnetic to watch that did really well. He was the first, I think, black artist on MTV. Really good scene in the film. Bad was the next one, I think, and then Dangerous is the three that I can remember. So I actually bought his album. Bad was my first album that I bought with my own cash. I think I must have been about 11 years old or something. I have no idea. But it was around that time, so it would have come from sort of my paper round money or whatever, and it had such an impact. Michael Jackson had such an impact on my life. So he shared his dance, right? His musicality in his dance. Beat It was one of the very first songs I used to dance to. I would lock myself in my mum's room and dance to that because it was so fun, right? But I didn't know about the context behind Beat It and the inspiration that it came from. So go watch the film if you want to find that out. So the other thing that I noticed was he had a very small and closely knit support structure. So his new manager after his dad, his mum came across in the film as always very nurturing and told him he was different to shine his light, and his bodyguard. So he had a very close knit support structure that helped him to achieve his vision and focus. He didn't have a massive team of people pleasers around him. And what's also really interesting is his dad could see his gift as well. It was really fascinating. And his dad would have been a catalyst for getting him started at the beginning, even though it probably, was a little bit intense. So is there anything else? Because I did promise you the 4 questions too. Okay, so he did also have challenges. He had stuff to overcome. So he really stepped into his courage. And the other thing, the last point that I wanted to say, was his innocence and his love. So he had a lot of love for people, animals, young children, sick people. It was really about healing and connection and making a difference, and using the platform that God had given him and the creative gifts that he'd said yes, to God, by acting on the idea and the inspiration and staying up all hours to go and make it happen and taking those risks. For good purpose, right? For transformational purposes across the world. And it was like, it's something that's made an impact on pretty much everyone I know on all their lives. And industries across the board, like Bollywood use it, I'm sure sports professionals use it. It's so inspiring. So the things that the film didn't focus on very much was his discernment qualities, the darkness, some of the people that wanted him for his life, and kind of the demise of, how things shifted and changed, right? Especially after that interview, I can't remember, with the kids that accused him of molestation. I don't remember the name of the reporter. Two-hand, an Indian guy who wears glasses for the BBC. BBC. Interesting bunch of people. Anyway, but what I did really love is the film focused on his light, his creative expression, his way to bring people together, and truly play, right? Real imagination and play. So these are the 4 questions that I am going to leave for you, right? What is the singularity of my passion and supernatural genius that, when fully expressed, leads to the most sensational life? So that is number 1. Oh gosh, there is one point that I did forget to mention. He studied successful people. So I'll come back to the next 3 questions in a minute. But he studied successful people. He read books. He was observing his environment. He paid attention to both what works and also, the things that he wanted to transform. So that's the other thing that I wanted to say. And then as a part of his support system, he had a lot of animals, which possibly isn't for me, but I do love parrots. So who knows? All right, so the second question, and this will change your life on every single level. is what core beliefs does this person have? This is so good if you want to live a fruitful life and to ascend and increase in energy, because it's not about getting to the top and then falling back to the bottom. There is no top really, but once you start to understand the radiant love that you are, you're not going to focus on darkness. You're going to keep being pulled towards the light, and you're going to understand contrast, but you're not going to spend any time suffering, right? So what core beliefs does this person have? So for example, if you want to have a successful coaching business, one of your core beliefs might be something like clients and money flow in for me daily. I have a waiting list of 2.5 years. We have taken 22 people to millionaire status this year. And so it's really important for you to think from the person that already has it, because it will change the feeling, it will change all your thoughts. Michael was a person who had foresight. He had a gift of foresight. He had forward thinking, right? It's very, very good. So then the third question, right? Who do I have to be and have this? Now, divine intelligence, your heart space, your energy, all those thoughts will flow, not only those thoughts to you, but also the person that doesn't flinch, right? The person that takes action on creative expression, the person who's always transforming every negative into a positive, the person who understands seasons and flow, the person who knows how to box himself in and not box himself in at the same time, right? The person that can take the abstract and make it super simple for fast transformational results across the board in all areas of your life, and the person who imagines great things for themselves, for their loved ones, for the people around them, for the world, for the cosmos, and still uses discernment. Right? It's very good. So then the next question, or the last question, is as the person who already has this. So say for example, you are an actor and you've already done 4 blockbuster films and you've reached this kind of status and you've made the films you want to make and touch those people's lives. What are your new desires that you are now focused on? What are your desires that you are now focused on? So what this does is it completely shuts down all of the things you've been experiencing that you've been trying to change in a very manual, hard-working kind of way, right? So for example, and there's nothing wrong with chasing the goal. Like, you got to push through. There's a time when you push through, and then there's a time when you're pulled through, and then there's a time when you just are it. So being able to recognize and move through those seasons are amazing. So the core principles have always been here, they'll always be here. And I do believe that we are being brought up to greater. Okay, so I had to take a minute because my storage is full, so I had to delete some stuff. So right, so I got to the point, right? What are their new desires, and what are they focused on now? So this is really, really important. I did have something else that I wanted to say. Just give me a second, see if I can find it. Yes, all right. So the other thing about Michael that came across in the film, he was extremely authentic and kind of very sharp shooting as well. So he did have innocence, and his dad, I think, was one of the biggest influences on some of his decisions, which is where he had to grow his courage. But in one of the meetings, it's really clear that he aligned himself with the right people who understood him and his vision. That was really, really life-changing for him. So that was the other point that I wanted to mention that I totally forgot to mention. You are the most magnetic and authentic when you are truly being you. No people pleasing, no worries about whether your clients are going to receive the message or not. But also you have core beliefs built in, right? So you know it's going to work. However, you're just not attached because you're confident, like you just are being you. Right? You're just being you. So what are your new desires now that you have received this goal? And then that creates a future past, which means it's already happened and you will experience it in this sweet paradox that is a construct of time, right? Because time doesn't really exist. Everything is now. Every now moment is now, which is why if you are having some resistance or a negative moment or emotional thing, it will pass. The most important thing is for you not to pay too much attention to it. So you can reflect, pause, review. But for the most part, just breathe it in and out and choose a better feeling for. So that's that. Now, if you are someone that wants to extract their genius, if you want to step into 100K months, if you want to live a sensational life, to have this focus and simplicity poured out into every single area of your life, to live in peace, which is certainty, right? Which is knowing that it's done, to be the person that doesn't flinch, that makes good decisions. So a lot of people talk about karma, dharma, divine will, alignment, God's will for your heart, desires. There's actually only 1 or 2 people that I know of that I can think of right now, and I have an amazing memory, that really talk about the power of good decisions, because in every moment you're making a decision. And all that stuff that we think is coincidence, signs, wonders, alignment, divine will. Yes, there is that in our reality, but it's also the power of the decisions that you're making from moment to moment, right? A good decision will lead to a good outcome. A good core belief will lead to more good core beliefs, right? Good emotions lead to more good emotions, because what you appreciates. What you pay attention to is where your energy flows, is where it goes. And like the sweet spot is you're not worried about anything, because you can transmute pretty much any environment. I posted a video inside my Passion to Profit group this week with Nancy Cohen and Justin Abrams. I love them. I think they're really, really inspiring. And one of the things that Nancy talks about is that when you're with the love of the Lord, right, that creator, the divine intelligence that created everything and pours love through you, everything that comes into that presence, that being, that spirit, is transformed from the darkest, right, from the darkest places. And really all darkness is compressed light. So we get to choose in every single moment. So it's very, very good. So if that is you, by the way, if you want to have that shift, if you want to be the woman that follows through, if you want to be authentic, if you want to dip into your genius, create from your natural, supernatural creative expression, which is a singularity, but it will have branches. For example, I love dancing. I'm not a choreographed dancer. I haven't had any dance lessons. I'm at probably like 6 or 7 in my entire life. And when I go out, people love to watch me dance. And I'm overweight, right? Like, and I'm older, right? And I'm not cancel. I'm speaking those words over myself, right? I'm so grateful that I am a person that's always been fit and healthy, right? But it's a natural gift. It's a natural gift that flows through me, and I don't even notice it because I'm just in the zone. And you will notice this with other people that you watch. You will notice it when they speak or when they do something, when they're in that natural flow. So go back to those 4 questions. Ask yourself those questions, usually in a relaxed space. and see what you are paying attention to, what you want to focus on, where your heart is, where your energy centers are, all of that good stuff. And if you are ready to scale to £100,000 or dollars or euros, 100k months, extracting your genius in a simple system that focuses your creativity, your joy. Like, there's a balance, right? You have the framework, you have the simple systems, you learn the marketing, you have the strategy. Most of all, it's your certainty, your being state. And there will be moments where you have this increased level of spontaneity, and it's almost like the 10x or the 100x shift, where you just have this creative growth spurt, and that's the quantum leap. It happens at the micro shifting level. Is the qualities of those great decisions that are built over years and years and years, and it is the frame gives you that ability to have those spontaneous leaps, right? And it's the frame inside you, it's holding your nerve in your nervous system, and that is my gift, that is my genius, that is what I give, that is what pours through me. I give it, you receive it, you give to me, and I receive from you. So it's beautiful, and then we all give and receive with each other in this beautiful, divine, harmonious flow. All right, have an awesome Sunday, and I will be back in either this week or next week to do another training. It might be core beliefs for constant or increasing cash. It'll be something along those lines, because my primary thing that I enjoy the most when I extract your genius, the tangible result, is for you to have stability with cash and to have surplus. And those beautiful thoughts that give you all the resources, the cash that you need. So if you looked at Michael Jackson's tours, he had the most packed out stadiums, right? He went all in. All right, have an awesome Sunday. Take care. Yes, and if you liked this video, please like, comment, share it with people that you know it's going to make a difference to them. If you want to reach out for the 100k frequency or private one-on-one coaching, mindset to majesty, just send me a DM with that in the text. We'll have a quick conversation. And if you want to savor my work in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming for you, because I do move you really fast, it is a process of initiation, but you want to move through that, then I have 2 online products that will be in the description below this video that you can just click, purchase, take your time. It's what has moved my client from undercharging and overgiving to having more time and receiving a lot more. It's actually where she also had her first £17,000 month, and she now has really, really healthy thoughts around money and lots of other things that have changed in her life. All right, take care. Have an awesome Sunday. Remember, where your attention flows, energy goes.